Going back to the importance of foundations, you hear that you hear the old adage, practice makes perfect. That's false. Perfect practice makes perfect. But if you do 10,000 swings wrong, then you've done 10,000 incorrect swings.
All right. Welcome. Episode 2. Finally here. Notice we got a little bit less people here today. Pedro is recovering from Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco got him.
Gio's out of town, so they will be back for the next episode here. So we just wanted to come out the gate and say thank you guys for everybody for watching the videos. Last week or the last couple weeks, we got well over 120 views, I think, starting off. So that's fantastic. So we got some great things in the works here. You notice a new set. Awesome. Temporary as well with the furniture, but we got a new permanent home and location. So we'll be recording from here moving forward. And notice we're not in a dungeon of Gio's apartment or Pedro's basement. So we're good to go.
Basement de Diana.
Basement de Diana. But yeah, so we're actually just talking about something really funny. Do you prefer the smell of gasoline over diesel? Or what? Because I think Matt was saying he kills plants with diesel in his front yard. So,
no. Okay, for the record, I don't spend a lot of time huffing gasoline. Okay, I just want to state that plainly. But I was just saying that the only reason I know what diesel smelled like is because I had to go fill up it's just like a weed spray pumper because I was building a putting green in the backyard, and there was an area that if you want to kill off any plants, grass, whatever, you spray it, then you can till it up, you spray it again, till it up so where it gets deep enough, and you'll never have anything grow again. That's if you want to just get rid of plants and any kind of shrubbery in that area.
So you're a diesel lover?
No, I was actually I was practicing tofu farming.
Tofu farming? Yeah, you gotta kill everything.
You gotta kill everything
in
sight,
man. Those
you gotta kill everything in sight. Ain't that right?
We got some folks off camera watching. We got pals here, Paola, my wife, and then we have our pro bono photographer Mateo is over here as well, showing some love and support. So, but yeah, the new location's in the gym, and we have like our little studio now. It's gonna be awesome moving forward. Really excited to see this grow and evolve over the next couple weeks or months. Mm-hmm. I think it's gonna be a really good time. I think today is gonna be a little bit more scripted than the last one, so we're gonna be talking a little bit about a couple different things here. So we're actually gonna be going over importance of programming and fundamentals, and back to the basics, and not really even crawling before you can run per se. No, that's a pretty worn out kind of terminology, but yeah, that's what we're going to be focusing on a little bit today. Talking about the programming in the sport as well, right? So how it's evolved and it's changed over the last decade or so. And then, between the affiliate programming and how many options there are there, and then open and games programs. So we have a lot of content. So we're going to try our best to try to keep this down to as low as we can. Matt and I we're talkers, so we'll try to make this happen and try to get it done here within
we're passionate. We're passionate about what we like to talk about. It's not that we necessarily enjoy talking. We can become chatterboxes when we're very passionate about something. Otherwise, I really don't say much.
Matt enjoys talking. It's okay, Matt.
I'm not going to talk.
You can admit it.
I'm just not going to talk out of spite.
So don't make a bet with Matt, because he'll take it and he'll stay silent and put it all on me for the next hour. So
absolutely would. Like, let's go, Mr. Charismatic.
No,
let's go, Mr. Charismatic.
Don't put me on the spot like that, man. So let's start off with the first topic. Let's dive right into it. So foundations and the progressions in CrossFit. So how long? Just recap for some of our folks. How long have you been doing this?
I found CrossFit in 2013, or near the end of 2013.
About 10 years. But yeah. I think I've been around the same boat, if I'm not mistaken. Between 12 years or so. I think 2012, I think was kind of when I started getting into it. It was like the first CrossFit Games. Whenever Rich won, this is my first time. His first one. That's when
2010.
Damn, I've been around that long. We've been around that long.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
No. I'm sorry. That's
I
my
thought you were in
mistake.
2012.
No, he won 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. He lost 2010.
2009.
No, he lost 2010
Because he
because that was the first year at the StubHub Center. The infamous fall from the rope.
So that was that's kind of how long I've been doing it. But I think when it comes to the foundations and laying the groundwork for success in this sport, it really is a lot of perseverance, a lot of dedication, a lot of time. So when I started, I couldn't do a pull up. I couldn't even do an air squat. I couldn't do which, if you can't do an air squat, then you can't do a back squat. You can't do a front squat. You can't do an overhead squat. So kind of learning those foundational movements and learning how to move was essential to kind of laying that groundwork. And, so evolving over the last 10 plus years has been a struggle. I'm just now, 10 years into it, able to do like 6 to 10 ring muscle ups unbroken finally. I've never been able to do that in my 10 years doing this.
Because you were forced. In a way, you were forced to do it.
That's kind of made
me. All you needed was just a few tweaks in movement proficiency, and then it takes over. But going back to the importance of foundations, you hear that you hear the old adage, practice makes perfect. That's false. Perfect practice makes perfect. But if you do 10,000 swings wrong, then you've done 10,000 incorrect swings.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like the importance of foundations, learning how to move efficiently is going to greatly benefit people as you start adding load, because you cannot move from a biomechanical standpoint. If you cannot move efficiently just with your own body weight, you have no business doing, squats.
Yeah.
You have no business doing front squats. You have no business doing overhead squats until you demonstrate movement efficiency in stages. Because you don't, if someone was doing firearms training, you just wouldn't throw them a gun and tell them to go shoot. There's certain things that you have to demonstrate in order to go fire on your own, to go shoot on your own. I mean, I had to do it with guns with my dad. I mean, you couldn't. He wasn't just going to give me a gun. It's like, okay, this is how you load it. This is how you check. You always check the chamber to make sure there's a round in it, or if there's not a round in it. How do you walk with a gun? If you're carrying a rifle, how do you walk with it?
Yeah.
Most idiots don't even realize that they'll just walk with the gun facing toward anybody.
Yeah.
No. You either have the rifle, the barrel pointed down at the ground to where if it were to discharge or go off, it'll shoot the ground.
Down. Yeah.
But you put the butt in your hand, you walk with it here. So if it were to go off, you never hurt anybody. It's just like firearm safety. It falls back to the 9 foundational movements. You shouldn't be doing any squatting. Back squat will follow air squat. You should not do front squat until you demonstrate good mobility, or you can scale certain movements. But you have no business doing D unless you can do A, B, C.
Right. Yeah. So it kind of goes like, air squat, back squat, front squat,
and then
overhead squat.
Overhead is the most challenging. Movements. Yeah.
Overhead squat, and I tell folks all the time when I'm coaching them, it's probably the most demanding movement. Because it obviously has to do with the snatch as well, which we'll talk about later. But the overhead squat demands the most shoulder mobility, hip mobility, ankle mobility. And you have to be able to demonstrate all those things. So you got to be able to put the work in to actually be able to get to that level. And that's work that you can't really do in the gym. So you only have an hour, but you have time afterwards to do your accessory work, your mobility, and things like that. I didn't get better in the gym. I started with a friend in a garage, and he taught me what he can, but I would take a broomstick handle, and during TV commercials at home, that's what I would do. I would work on my positional work. I would work on my mobility, my flexibility, until I became proficient at it. My wife is a good example. When she first started working out with us and she started doing weight training, we didn't put weight on her bar for like the first 4 to 6 weeks, until she showed us that she can move proficiently, effectively, and like going back to you were talking about the gun safety, safely as well. So some people, move well without a load, but you put a load on them, and then they, you see technique and you see their faults in some of their modalities and range of motion. So
when I had my gym, I say they didn't like it. People just don't like being told no.
Right.
But I would not let people progress at all until you demonstrated. Because as a coach or as a CrossFit owner, if you're a CrossFit coach, people are looking to you. Yeah, everyone thinks that, okay, well, hey, you're supposed to just give me a good workout. It's like, no, you're an idiot. I'm teaching you how to move efficiently.
Yeah. And safely.
Because what point is it if I give you a great workout, but now I've just damaged your shoulders or I've damaged your knees because I've just let you do whatever you want to do because you just feel like you ought to be able to do it. So no, you have to demonstrate certain things before I can put you under load, because now from a neurological standpoint, I put you under load and now you're tired and fatigued. Your coordination, your ability to self-correct goes down exponentially.
Yeah.
When you can't do that. That's a failure on coaches and gym owners if they allow them to do that, because now you're just setting people up for the 10,000 kicks done incorrectly.
Yeah. And I mean, that's key. I mean, I think the part of that, and going off of that as well, is it's baby steps. People see the more advanced athletes or somebody that maybe has been an athlete their entire lives, right? And they come into the CrossFit gym or community and they see people doing ring muscle-ups, walking on their hands, handstand push-ups, doing these more advanced movements. Like, oh, I'm an athlete. I can do that. Well, there are two different things between, playing football for 12 years and doing weight training and weightlifting in the weight room than doing what this sport of CrossFit demands out of you. And so really just having that reality check and that candid conversation with another athlete, it can be uncomfortable at times depending on who it is, but we really got to rear them back and say, I'm doing this for your safety. You're not ready for that. Do you have, move on to the gymnastics portions. A lot of my female athletes tend to want to do butterflies before they have strict. So there's a progression there, right? So, I need you to do, 4 sets of 20 banded pull-ups twice a week. And then once we do that, we start rearing back on the bands until you get unbroken. And then we start lowering the bands. And then you got free weight and you're able to do 10 strict, pull-ups without any assistance. Then we can start working on your kip. Then we can start working on the butterfly movements. But unless that foundation for that advanced movement is there, you just can't dive right into that safely anyway and proficiently. So that's important as well.
Yeah, for pull-ups. A lot of people want to do butterfly or butterfly chest to bars, but what they don't understand is your shoulder is the ball and socket. So if your shoulder girdle is not strong enough to support such a shearing force on it as if you're pulling up and then you're dropping back down, if you do not have that stabilization and strength in that ball and socket joint, then the potential for injury is higher. So Jessica Phillips and her husband Brandon Phillips, they own CrossFit Bound up in Kennesaw. I remember I was talking to her when I'd first gotten started, and she was like, they would not let me do anything until I demonstrated 10 strict.
Yeah. The
coaches didn't care how upset I got. They didn't care because I think in the beginning, this is my thought about CrossFit over the course of it's since 2007, so that's 10, 15 years? Yeah. 23? Okay, so 15 years. So there was such a stress on you had to demonstrate things in order to be able to progress, when now there are some people, like some gyms where you could walk into a gym and they can be brand new and they'll just say there's pull-ups in the workout. They'll just kind of allow people to try to do butterflies clearly before they have any business doing it. Yep. But I think that's kind of been lost in translation over the years. But I do find that it is of the utmost importance to master one skill before you move on, because if you're doing the skill wrong, you're getting away with it, yes, but you're still not getting the full benefit of said skill as you progress on, because that little change in, let's say, the fault in, if you're doing your push presses wrong, then your push jerks are going to suffer. And if you're doing your push jerks wrong, then your split jerk's going to suffer.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like you need to master one skill before you move on to the next.
And they all complement each other. I always tell people, if you develop a very good high reps of your pull-ups, strict pull-ups, it's going to impact your other movements as well, right? Yeah. So weightlifting, you need that really big pull. You need a big, you're using your back and your lats to finish that pull and follow through. And if you don't have the foundation of doing 10, 15 strict pull-ups unbroken, right? That development is essential to transfer over to other skill sets in the sport as well. Mm-hmm. So, we talk about handstand push-ups as well, things like that. Like you have to be able to develop those other muscles in other ways. And that's why we say those foundations are important. Let's get those 10 strict. Show me those 10 strict pull-ups without any assistance, and then we can put you upside down. We can talk about doing some handstand push-up work, right? Stability work overhead. So, it's, the 9 foundational movements, which I don't think we mentioned them. It's the air squat, the front squat, overhead squat, shoulder press, which would be your strict press, push press, push jerk, your deadlift, sumo deadlift, high pull, and med ball clean. So those are the 9 CrossFit foundational movements that you should, really hound on and be proficient at. And your coach should be able to walk you through how to scale or work towards progressing towards those movements as well if you don't have them out the gate. So, front rack positional work is going to be one a lot of people don't have the lats to get that forearm vertical or horizontal or parallel to the ground. So, you can use lifting straps and hold on to those to get that front rack mobility up there. So there's a lot of ways that you can actually work with your coach to master these 9 foundational movements, and we'll post them down below as well in the description so you guys can see them. But I think if you master those 9 and you're proficient at those 9, those are laying the groundwork to success and everything else.
Here's the difference that I find. So, yes, is it God-given ability and work capacity that some of the games athletes just have? Yes, but what a lot of people don't see, and this kind of goes back in the intro, we were talking about individual progressions, affiliate programming, open and games programming, that your elite athletes are doing the most basic stuff over and over and over, and people think that like training is supposed to be glamorous, like you just see people doing snatching. No. So people like Kobe Bryant, where he took like 1,000 shots, but he's doing the same thing.
Yep.
He's doing receiving the ball, taking a step, fake, fade away shot. Games athletes or even regional athletes are really good athletes. People that want to progress are going to do the little things to get better at said progressions. Ergo, air squat. So you're doing a squat. Let's say you're trying to teach somebody to drive their knees outward. Well, you put bands around the knees. Mm-hmm. That's going to build IT band strength. It'll build glute medius strength. Things for gymnastics where you're doing strict work. Okay, well, I can't do strict, so I'll do banded pull-ups. Ring muscle-ups. You see them doing strict ring muscle-ups. Not good at dips. They do dips. The people who want to progress and get better, well, I think we brought it up in the podcast last time. The theory that the sum of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I think I'm quoting that correctly, but so I always use the example because I'm dumb, so I have to explain it in such a way that my dumb mind can understand. So if my hand has a grip strength of 10, that means that 10 pounds of force, so that means each individual finger is 2 pounds. Mm-hmm. Simple math, right? But if I work on the little things, and now I can increase each phalange. I know, sorry. Each finger, if I can increase it to 3, well, now it's gone up by 5 pounds overall. So if you work on the little things, the big things tend to take care of themselves. That's all you need to do in every aspect of life. And I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but especially for the 9 foundational movements or the movements or any of the gymnastics movements, if you work on the little things, the bigger things will take care of themselves. Yep. And that's, like I said, that's true for your gymnastics. You're not actually going to be doing the movement all the time. You're going to be working on little aspects of the movement so that the overall movement can benefit.
Yeah, and I think people, we'll end this topic with basically, hey, we hope this helped you guys kind of get a better idea where you guys need to start and what you need to work on and the progressions you need to go through. But it takes a lot of work. So, when you're starting out in this and you see folks doing ring muscle-ups, bar muscle-ups, walking on their hands, like I never thought when I started that I'd be able to walk 100 feet unbroken on my hands. It just wasn't a thought to me. And now I can. But like Matt said.
Look at me. I walk
So, and I think the key to that is I did those little things. You're not going to learn and master all these things doing an hour a day, 5 or 6 days a week.
Without
CrossFit.
failure. Can't do it without failure.
There's times and a place, and I think Coach Ace did a great job today of explaining folks on the handstand push-ups in today's workout was today is not the workout for you to practice your handstand push-ups.
Right.
So you either have them and you're going to do them, or you're going to scale them, or you're going to do this movement instead. So there's a time and a place to work on these things, and a lot of gyms. I know us, especially here at CrossFit Deville, we offer amazing open gym hours for you to be able to work on that accessory and put in that extra time. But get the exercises from your coach. Talk to your coach. Let them know what you want to do, what your goals are, and share your fitness goals and what you want to do, where you want to be at. And it's their job to help you and assign you work to do to get there. So hopefully it's helped, and hopefully you guys can move forward and with all of your progressions and things, and make a list. And this year, I want to get ring muscle ups. Start hammering those foundations and those basics, and no doubt that you can probably get there.
And if you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to stop a coach. The only stupid question is the one that you never ask.
Yep.
So find a coach, figure out what your flaws are, what the weakness is, and then get together with the coach, set up a time, and then you guys structure a way that you can attack it. Because individual progressions sometimes can be obtained just following a class affiliate programming style workout. But a lot of the times you have to put in just a little bit of extra time on the side, either before the class workout or after the workout. It doesn't take hours and hours, but that's the only way that you're going to progress. Don't ever hesitate to stop me or Louise. It doesn't matter if we're in the middle of a workout. I will always stop what I'm doing, and I will help anybody. I cannot help you if you don't approach me and ask me a question.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of people that know me can testify to that I will stop anything I'm doing. There's no workout too important to me that I will not stop it to help somebody else.
And I will give kudos to one of our members today that I actually saw snatching today, and her overhead squat had improved so much. I approached her. Carol was overhead squatting. I was like, that looks different. So I walked up to her and I said, hey, have you been working on your mobility, your flexibility, range of motion? What have you been doing? She's like, yeah, I've been really working on my shoulder mobility and my hips. And, I was like, I noticed the difference between when I saw her a couple weeks ago do overhead squats and now, and gave her that validation. Like, hey, what you're doing is working, right? So keep doing what you're doing is working. That looks a lot better than it did the last time I saw it.
Oh,
and
she's come a long way.
Us as coaches, we notice that stuff. We know when you're putting in that extra work, and we know when you're dedicated, when we see those improvements like that, such drastic changes over a short period of time. So, the next thing I really wanted to talk about, man, was, the mass amounts of affiliate programming out there, whether it's for competition or for gyms. Here at Deville, we're Mayhem Gym, so we're a CrossFit Mayhem affiliate. So we follow.
That was an unscripted, very beautiful segue into this.
Segue from our sponsor. So we're a Mayhem affiliate, so we follow the GOAT's programming. Obviously, he doesn't write all the programming. He has coaches that do a lot of it for him, but they believe in his methodology and his style. So he is speaking through them. Essentially, is kind of the way I look at it. So, we do Mayhem here, but there's other ones out there that I've tried as well. HWPO, it's Matt Frazier's, Proven, Tia Claire Toomey. You got CrossFit Invictus. They have their own programming, CompTrain, and CrossFit.com a couple years back launched an affiliate program as well. So CrossFit.com also has affiliate programming. I think that's free for affiliates, if I'm not mistaken. So I
love how the affiliate programming model has shifted over the years, because in 2007 to 2009, even 10, maybe when you started, because you started before I did.
Yeah.
That I remember going in, and it was all about, it was like Windler strength, and everything was like
5-3-1.
Yeah.
But
it was like, okay, if you want to hit legs, it was okay, we're going to do a strength lift, and then we're doing back squats, but then we're going to do 150 wall balls. And the next day you're doing pull-ups, and it was pull, or whatever the case may
Yeah,
be. It was
what's the .com workout? We're doing that. So we're gonna do whatever's
right,
on
it was
.com,
strength
and then we're
a
gonna do
workout,
Runway.
strength and workout every single day
Yeah.
of strength metcon. And now what I've noticed, just from the time I got started to now, is how the programming has shifted for the GPP, your general physical. Well, GPP is general physical preparedness, but for the general population in CrossFit, to me, metabolic conditioning and skill work like gymnastics, stuff like that, is of vastly more importance than the strength training, because you don't do people any favors if you get them strong but they can't run, or you get them strong but they can't do pull-ups. So I think it's a fine balance of making sure that you're programming efficiently. And I know just from scouring the internet over the last 10 years, CompTrain is very, very well written, very structured. Invictus has been around since like 2000, the 2008.
It's older than
They're
Mateo.
pretty good. But the thing is, the beauty of all this is that, okay, Mayhem, HWPO, Prove, and Invictus, CompTrain, they're all delivering CrossFit.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff. It's just the skeletal OPEX. Okay, we forgot to mention OPEX. OPEX has been around for a while as well. James Fitzgerald I think he was the 2007 or 2008 Games champion. But they're all delivering CrossFit. The beautiful thing to me is everyone's delivering it in their own fashion.
Yeah.
Their own manner. And there's always going to be people that say, oh, well, this person is better or this is better. The beauty of it is it's still CrossFit. You're still putting in the hard work.
Yeah, and I think they're all, I've done all of them. So and it's been a while since I've done CompTrain, but I did HWPO for 3 or 4 months on the individual track, not necessarily on the affiliate. And there's a difference between programming for somebody who wants to be competitive in the sport versus for the masses, right? So for me, when I did Proven or HWPO and Mayhem, like Matt said, it's all CrossFit. It's all hard and grunt work. But when I look at the affiliate programming, which is like my big focus, is they all are structured very similarly.
Yes.
They all have, rest work, ratio interval work once a week. They have some sort of chipper once a week. They'll have a flush day, a monostructural day as well, where they just say, all right, today we're just doing intervals on the bike, or we're just doing intervals on the row.
And people punk out on those days.
And those, they do. And I think those are the most important days. Do you think we like sitting outside biking for 15 minutes the other day? Absolutely not. No. Like, nobody likes doing the same thing for 50 minutes, but we did that. We do that once or twice a week.
Constantly varied. You can't always do the stuff that you like. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
There's people out there that just cherry pick and they'll just come in when they see snatches. If you're just doing it,
that used to be
a lot of people do it. But if you're just picking and choosing what you like, then you're not fully. I'm not saying this as like a cultish statement, but if you want to experience all the benefits of CrossFit, I'm sorry, there are some days where you just have to do monostructural stuff and you have to let your body. And this is coming from someone that trains a lot. You have to have a monostructural day where you're learning to get comfortable on the machine. You have to build that metabolic or that anaerobic base.
Aerobic.
But you're building an anaerobic base aerobically, depending on the intensity. But for the most part, you want to build that aerobic base at least once a week, spending just time either on the bike or the rower or the echo, whatever the case may be.
And when I did HWPO, even through individual track, when I was doing the HWPO Proven Mayhem individual, they have, I think for them it was like Wednesday or Thursday was their mono day. And they would just say lactic threshold day. And you would be on the bike, pick a machine, this is what you're doing. So it's not anything that's fun by any means, but it's absolutely crucial and necessary. And I think even for the masses in the gym, like, we're out there and everybody walks in, they see a bunch of bikes set up. They're like, oh, God, not again. But those are the days where you can push the limits and redline a little bit, right? So those low impact machines, if you're doing bike erg or an eco or assault bike, sprints or interval work, as your workout for the day is 20, 25 minutes on the bike, but I think it's extremely beneficial for you. But you can redline that workout. You can push the envelope a little bit, and it's not going to beat you up the next day. So, but you're going to get a nice flush as well, right? So, but they usually program that in the middle of the week for a reason. And it may not look fun, it may not look attractive, but it's extremely beneficial for you as an athlete, and your overall, fitness levels as well. So I urge everybody to, when you come in, you check our Wodify and you see the workout and you're like, oh, just rowing today, give it a shot. Give it 150% of your effort. Try it, and it's going to be very, very, very hard if you do it the way that it's written and your coach explains it to you. So just give it a shot. I think it'll be awesome. Something else, I think we're just wrapping up our week. Next week is our last week of our Mayhem Strength Cycle for the affiliate. And I'm loving the variation in cycles that we've been doing for the affiliate programming. So I think we started the year with power lifts. So we had deadlift, bench.
Yeah, y'all did it.
What is it?
They did a ton
and back squat.
They did a bunch of lifting in the beginning.
It was all powerlifting the first eight weeks of the year.
Strength block.
Yeah, and then we're doing our Oli cycle now. So now it's been Oli for the last 8 weeks. Week 9 is on Monday, and we're 1 rep maxing again next week as a gym. So we'll be starting another cycle in 2 weeks as well. So they're usually between 6 to 8 or 9 weeks with Mayhem. But it used to be like Matt said, it used to be Wendler 531. If you don't know what Wendler 531 is, basically Wendler is you plug in your 1 rep max, and it takes 90% of your 1 rep max, and it puts you on a scaled tiered level. So you do 5 back squats, 5, 5, 5, 5 plus burnout at 1%, and then the next time you do 3, 3, 3, 3, and then 5, 3, 1. So it's a very tiered, structured way. And then after 6 to 8 weeks, if you're following the percentage and you're staying consistent, the idea is that you are hitting your 1 rep max 4 reps at the end of Wendler. Now, that was how I started when I started CrossFit. That was what we did. But we didn't Oli. We only Oli'd when we were in doing a workout. So it was all back, squat, bench, and press. So those are the 3 movements. So now you're seeing it evolve. It's like now we're doing Olympic weightlifting twice a week, and we're doing some sort of squat or some sort of press, which I think, it's evolved. And I think it's going to be awesome. We got Cheech's what do you think the benefits of Olympic weightlifting are?
Well, Olympic weightlifting to me it's more of a challenge than just doing your back squat or a front squat, just because it's going to challenge timing, accuracy, mobility, power, explosiveness. But strength and Olympic lifting cycles, I know that there's a lot of studies out there. I don't have the study pulled up at the moment, but strength lifting is of vital importance. I know I preach metabolic conditioning through volume, build strength through volume. But lifting heavy, there's studies out there that show that lifting heavy will help fight osteoporosis for females. Super important for females to do. Even for guys, it helps with bone density with men. Strength training also let's just be real. It keeps you strong so that you can go out and live
and fight bears.
Got to work the body.
Yeah.
That's my first thought. If I was attacked by a bear, I'd be like, work the body.
Now you don't go for the bear's eyes?
No, that's sharks. You poke sharks in the eye.
Punch sharks in the nose.
No, I thought you poked him in the eye.
Well, who do you punch in the face? I thought you punched a shark in the face.
People.
Oh, jeez.
Right? No.
So from Matt himself, if you get attacked by a bear,
work the body
shots.
Work the body.
Body shots.
But no, I think strength and Olympic lifting cycles it's a challenge that's outside the norm. Virtuosity, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of CrossFit's tenets is you just want to be. I don't know the exact definition. It's virtuosity is being uncommonly good at the common thing.
Yep.
Or is it? Yeah, I think that's it. Someone can quote me, or someone will let me know. I'm sure someone will. But I pulled up this while we were talking. I pulled up this article, a theoretical template for CrossFit's programming. This was written back in 2003.
20 years ago.
Yeah, which is nuts, but it's still true today. I was
Give us
just
some of those
looking
highlights that you see
at,
there, Matt.
huh?
Give us some of those highlights. What do you see on that?
Well, I'm trying to find where I just saw it. It was like, in fact, if you went with it, this is talking about a three day on, 1 day off template. So there, the big thing with CrossFit is to be constantly varied, right? Like it's almost like putting stuff into a hopper, spinning it around. And at first glance, the template seems to be offering a routine or regimen. And I'm quoting. This is written by Greg Glassman, February 1st, 2003. So at first glance, the template seems to be offering a routine or regimen. This may seem at odds with our contention that workouts need to be considerable variance or unpredictability, if not randomness, to best mimic the often unforeseeable challenges that combat sport and survival demand and reward. But basically what he talks about is at the very end, in fact, it is mathematically likely that each 3-day cycle is a singularly unique stimulus, never to be repeated in a lifetime of CrossFit workouts. And you can apply that to strength and iWi cycle. People sometimes, I think, get caught up in the micro. They're looking at the micro sense just at the 1 day. Sometimes you need to step back and look at the broader picture. I know that when CrossFit did a video, I think it was back in 2014. It's like people are always caught up in the micro sense. Like, oh, he's doing deadlifts. He's not doing CrossFit, or he's doing deadlifts. They've been doing deadlifts, X amount of times this week. This is stupid. It's like, well, you need to step back and look at the macro picture as opposed to getting caught up on the day-to-day basis. There is, even though there is no method to the madness, or it seems like there's no method to the madness, there is. Yeah, that's the beauty of what we were talking about with the affiliate programming. I know we moved on kind of from that, but there's a method to the madness, but yet there's no method to the madness.
Yeah, but also at the same sense, trust the process, guys. So if you want to test your fitness levels, we have CrossFit has benchmark workouts for a reason. So you want to see where you're at, do a name workout every 3 to 5, 6 months. Once or twice a year, hit a benchmark. See where you're at, see if you've improved, see if your fit levels improve, see if the hard work that you're putting in every single day has had your return on investment. Haha, pun intended. But
play on words.
I did share my screen really quick to kind of show the article that Matt was going over, and I'll make sure to link that as well in our description of that link. So while he was talking, and I think that's a really good article if you look at it, and it stands true today, 20 years later, right? Maybe the movements have changed and evolved, which we're about to get into in our next topic. But at the end of the day, it's a holistic program these days. It used to not really be that way, and how the sport of CrossFit has evolved has been, pretty, amazing in my eyes, as far as where it was when I started versus to where it is now. It still sucks every single day.
Definitely better.
But moving on to the next part here is, CrossFit Games and the Open programming. I mean, it's been an absolute wild ride, especially since Dave Castro's kind of stepped away from being director of the games and owning that programming piece. And when we watched it, I'll share my screen here in a moment, but kind of comparing where the games were 10 years ago in 2012 versus where they were last year in 2022, and kind of looking at those workouts and kind of taking a peek at the differences in modalities and difficultness. So, I mean, it's been pretty wild. So I'll share my screen here with you guys really quick. I mean, if we're looking at over here at the workout here, so we got ball toss. I mean, 2012, they were doing a ball toss. They're on a GHD, and the athlete will throw as many medicine balls as far as possible. Men will throw 4-pound medicine ball. Women will throw 2. So you're going in the back behind a GHD. You're slinging yourself forward and throwing a med ball. A bunch of them. Yeah, I think they had a timer. It was like
they had a timer.
They had a timer as get as many as you can done. WOD number 2 was a broad jump. Like, athletes will have 3 attempts to complete a standing broad jump for distance. Athletes will be ranked by distance of the furthest of the 3 attempts. That's like, who thought that stuff that we do as a warm up would have been games workouts, right? And then you get into a little bit of more of like OG traditional CrossFit stuff. So you got a chipper with a 15-minute cap. That's going to be a little bit of a shorter time domain. Clean ladder, always love to see those. So now this is tough. I think 10 years ago, having a clean ladder ending at 385 in 2012.
That's 2012.
That's
insane.
If you look at
now, segueing into even further back. So now most people that have looked into CrossFit since 2012, maybe 2013 on, where you were doing it from Wednesday, multiple events, 3 events every day, or even Thursday, 3 events every day. Going back to 2007, I'm looking at it right now. There was 2 events for 3 days. 2 events on a Saturday, 2 events on a Sunday, or
one event on Sunday.
One event on Sunday. I'm sorry.
Total events for the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
A typical Saturday at CrossFit Deville.
But the good thing is it's a 1,000-meter row and then 5 rounds of 25 pull-ups, 7 push jerks. They retested that in 2013. Everybody absolutely smoked it, and then they redid it again. But they was it 2022 or 21 where they put a time constraint. So Boz changed it a little bit. They put a time constraint on the rower that guys had to finish under a certain amount of time.
3:30 or something.
Yeah, and the females had to finish under a certain amount of time. So they took the same basic workout from 15 years ago, and they just tweaked it just a bit. Event 2, trail run. Luckily, I've seen a lot of the games where it's just like an approximate 5K trail run. I mean, what was the year that COVID hit? They did 10K. They did a 10K trail run. And then event 3, Sunday, was just your CrossFit total. Your back squat, your press, your deadlift. I think there's been some kind of a variance in, like, you're doing a single lift. I think we've seen the total, twice?
Yeah,
in the last,
twice
6 years?
5 or 6 years.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years. But the programming for the games has changed dramatically. Mainly because the athletes have just gotten better, and the whole tenet behind CrossFit is you're challenging yourself with a unforeseeable thing, something unknown, as I just read. So they are always constantly trying to push the envelope. Like, who would have thought? Okay, riddle me this: who would have thought that doing crossovers would have been the games, and that these are phenomenal. I mean, God-given abilities. Yes, they've worked hard, but phenomenal athletes that can essentially pick up any kind of stimulus change thrown at them, figure it out on the fly, and then go. People were not finishing that event because of crossovers, which you would think you learned that in elementary school on the basketball court.
Yeah. I mean, even starting that, I think it was single unders, right? So,
who would have thought you would have seen single unders at the...
Let's see if I can find it here really quick. It was last year, right?
Single unders? No, I think it was 2 years ago.
No, the crossovers were last year, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, crossovers were last year.
Yeah.
The single unders, because there was one where you had to do, it was like pegboard and then 100 single unders, something else.
There it is, yeah.
Double unders, something else, and then triple.
So
not tripled, crossovers.
So looking at it here, this is it right here. It's got skill speed medley. So you had three for the males, 2 for the female pegboard descents, 75 unbroken single unders. If I'm not mistaken, Tia Claire Toomey messed up on that, and it cost her the event. So because they have to be unbroken, and I think she hit them and she was going. And this is the 6-time CrossFit Games individual female champion got tripped up on single unders.
I see normal people that aren't even games athletes that you ask them to do single unders after they learn double unders. And it's like monkey doing a math problem.
Yeah,
they can't figure it out. They can't do them anymore.
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm still bitter about that workout. I thought it should have been triple unders rather than double under crossovers. So, still not a fan of the movement. Yes, I am practicing them, but yeah, I think triple unders is what people have really been focusing on and kind of expecting to see, and it just didn't happen. So they kind of threw him for a curveball there. But
yeah, but I mean. In hindsight, do you remember when Dave first put the pegboard? People were not finishing that event because of the pegboard.
Yeah.
That's what I love about CrossFit is that, like, if they, okay, like the workout we programmed today, a lot of people came up to me after and they're like, well, why is it that there are some, like, it was, but But why would you guys program something that would be impossible to finish? And it's like there are some workouts that are supposed to be set up to where we know you're not going to finish.
Yeah.
The goal is the effort that it takes to try to finish.
Yeah.
If you finish, awesome, phenomenal, fist bump. But if you don't, that's fine. But the fact that you work that hard to attempt to finish, same thing with the games program, is like you're constantly challenging yourself with new ideas. Like last year, they had to do the pirouette. They had to get in on the parallel bars and go from a seated L sit into a handstand, and then walk the parallel bars.
That's the going back to the screen. That this is the same event, the skill speed medley, the handstand walk course. So with a pirouette start, and then they had the low start, which is what you're talking about, kind of going to that L sit. But not a lot of people got there.
2011 was, I think, the first year that they implemented just handstand walks, but they did it for max distance.
Yeah.
For anyone, 2012 they did handstand walks. At the end, no. 2012, I forget what workout had handstand walks. But the progression being, so 2013 was after they doggone deadlifted. They had to deadlift 405 multiple rounds and then do weighted pistols. And then they had to handstand walk 90 feet. And then immediately after that, do muscle-ups, deficit handstand push-ups, overhead walking lunges.
Yeah.
2013 or 2014, it was GHD's handstand walks with overhead walking lunges. So you added another implement in with the handstand walk, multiple rounds.
Yeah, and they also did it around that era. They did the hammer. They had to bring in the hammer and hit the anvil and slide it across the track. So,
no, but I'm talking about the overall increase in the progression. Now you got people going up ramps, walking upstairs, and then walking across parallel bars. The fact that the games programming knows the athletes are capable of it, but they're intentionally setting up things and figuring things out to continuously challenge people is a testament to what CrossFit's original thesis was, is that they are training for the unknown, the unknowable, and that we are capable of more than what we actually want to give ourselves credit for as humans or as athletes. Sometimes you just have to be confronted with something that you fail at a lot publicly. And
we saw a lot of that, I think, at this year's game, especially with the capital workout. With there's a lot of running, a lot of grip, a lot of load, and time under tension, and but once again, I think we're big on the community aspect. It's a sidebar, but it's just the last athlete couldn't get that 200-pound bag. I think for females it was what it was. So
it took her a minute.
Like it took her a while. They had the capital. So like looking at the capital, you had to do 20 pig flips. You had to run 3.5 fucking miles, and then 200-meter jerry bag carry, which is the bags where the jerry bags are 150 pounds each in each hand, and then you had to do a Husafel carry. You had to take a 200-pound bag and carry it.
That's the new implement.
It shaped like a, I guess like a, I don't know what that would be, like a pyramid, essentially, kind of.
No, it's like a diamond.
Yeah, like diamond-ish, where you had to pick it up underneath and
you know where that came from, though, right? You know the history of that came from? The bag? So the Husafel stone, if I'm misquoting it, mispronouncing it, but that's in Ireland, or Iceland. The Husafel stone is a massive stone. It's a strongman stone that they would have in the world's strongest man, that they would have to pick these stones up and walk like a certain distance. And so over the course of time, the people at CrossFit were just like, well, how can we make this? Because with a sandbag, right? With a sandbag, it's round. You're able to grip it and you can wrap your fingers around. So the implement of that nature being shaped like that, it's harder for you to get your hands around without it being so high up in your face and at the end of everything. And if you notice the year before that, they had cone or diamond. Wait, it was cone shape. I think it was 21, or maybe even 20 or even 19, where they had to walk multiple laps.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it was like
that was their strongman. They usually do kind of strongman implement.
It was a cone shape. Yeah. But again, the progression of the programming from no one would have thought that they would have had something like that in 2007 or even 2009. And if you would have told them that they could do it, they would have said you were crazy. They also said people were crazy that it can never be done, that someone could run a sub 5-minute mile and then squat 500 pounds in the same day.
And Adam from CrossFit
Krypton
did that.
He did it.
Sub 5-minute mile and 500-pound back squat in the same day. Not
I'm
like in the same week.
I'm happy if I run a sub 5-minute 400.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, say it. Yeah, I don't run. I just don't run. So, and Devils, call me whatever you want. I run if I have to run, if it's in a workout. But
you're a good runner. You're a decent runner, dude.
I try. So, not the tallest guy over here. So I'm not the best runner, but I try. So if you guys followed along, I showed, I pulled up a couple of the Hustle stones and the bags and stuff that they kind of use and get an idea of what they look like. So, I mean, the games is everything now. It used to be just doing name workouts where they had to do 30 snatches and what we call Fran 21-15 9 thrusters, pull ups, and you just saw with a trail run or a hike or a hill sprint or something along those lines. But now it's you're swimming, you're biking, and not just biking. You're doing off road biking or road biking. You don't know what you're gonna get that year.
Right.
You're running for distance. You had a 3.5 mile run last year. They did a ton of running last year in the games. I think in the first 2 days they ran like 6 miles or something crazy like that with all the other workouts that they had done. Gymnastics, weightlifting, obstacle courses. They did at the Marine Corps in Pendleton in 2012. Yeah, they did the Marine obstacle course over there. It's absolutely wild. And on top of that, you're throwing a typical CrossFit, which is usually your last day of the CrossFit Games is going to be your OG under the lights in the stadium, like grinding. There's barbells, there's rope climbs, there's gymnastics. It's OG CrossFit. So it's absolutely wild. Kind of where it's been, and I like it. I was very. I think my wife can probably attest to it. How much I bitched and complained about how I didn't like all the new aspects of the games last year, right? So with the double under crossovers, I think regular crossovers would have been fine, but double under crossovers, and then I really wanted to see what I thought I was going to hate, but I ended up really enjoying was the speed clean ladder with the sandbags instead of a barbell. So we didn't see a heavy snatch ladder, heavy clean speed ladder, but they did sandbags, and I think they went all the way up to like an insane.
And for the record,
weight.
CrossFit stole the speed clean ladder from Grid. I just want to throw that out there.
But they're not affiliated, so they didn't do any of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
CrossFit did steal that from the MPGO. Or Grid as it's called now.
Yeah, they're still active in a couple states. Florida, for one, I think is still pretty big.
They're big in Florida. Yeah, Grid's huge in Florida.
Competitive speed CrossFit. They do crazy shit. Look it up. It's absolutely insane, the stuff that they do. Sandbag ladder. Here it is. So 1 rep max sandbag. So, women started at 160 pounds all the way up to a 250-pound bag. And then the men started at 240 and ended at 340. But I think they had the red bags, which I think were 350 for the guys and 260 or 265 maybe for the girls.
I think so.
They had that red bag that they rolled out if you made it through the whole ladder. And then if you ended up tying with somebody else at that weight or failing at the same weight as a peer, you had to go and do 3 of them over a yoke to finish to place. And I'm like, absolutely wild. I thought I was going to hate it, but it ended up being a very, very exciting workout to see. And I hope they bring back a speed ladder in the games this year, to be honest with you. That's probably some of my favorite ones to watch, to see these guys just throw around heavy weight.
Well, everyone likes typical CrossFit where you see a barbell moving, you see people walk on their hands. But the stuff people don't train a lot, or the normal everyday CrossFitter, right, the general population, but is just seeing the odd object training. That's just pure grunt work.
Yeah.
You can get away with being efficient, you can get away with being okay at certain movements, but the Capitol run, that was all grunt work.
Yeah.
In 2013 they did the Burden run, where they had to run 3.5 miles, come in, do the pig flip, then carry the freaking log.
The 333 in 2016, I think.
No, that was double under, or that was
300 double unders, 3,000 meter row, 3 mile run.
I'm talking odd object, just pure odd object, like the Burden run. You had to run, then you had to do a pig flip, and then they had to carry a log, and then when they got to the stadium, they had to drag a sled 100 yards But that's all grunt work. That's fun. That's hard, fun stuff.
I actually don't mind like carrying heavy shit. Like I like that stuff. The stuff, you know, if you say, hey, Luis, pick this up and go 200 meters, I'm like, okay. But you say, Luis, go run 200 meters with nothing in your hands.
We got our cameraman right here to verify that come Monday, I'm going to ask Luis to pick up some heavy. I'm going to ask him to pick up something heavy, and he's going to go 400 feet. And be like, you just said you didn't mind.
Right.
You said you didn't mind.
So, yeah, I'm not going to be here on Monday. So, yeah, y'all let me know how that goes. So, but no, I think it's just absolutely just going back, and you guys just saw it, you know, on the screen, the difference between programming in 2012 broad jumps as an event, and
I wish they would test that now. I would be very interested to see the furthest broad jump then compared to the furthest broad jump now, because people are actually doing more seated high box jumps.
Yeah.
So instead of just doing 30-inch box jumps, which used to be like, oh my gosh, people are doing 30-inch box jumps. People are doing seated like 40-inch box jumps.
Yeah.
Because the more explosive your hips are with that extension, that helps with your cleans, your snatches, stuff like that. But I would be very intrigued to see a broad jump in the games. Even if it wasn't in the games, I would just those top tier athletes, what the difference would be data-wise on the furthest broad jump for the man and the woman versus man and woman now, 2023.
Yeah. Those comparisons are insane to see, especially in the open when they redo workouts and the athletes kind of repost their times and how much fitter they've gotten over the years. But what's even more intriguing is during the games, I think sometimes when they do like a common movement like that, or a sprint or running, and they see the pacing. These guys, some of these guys are pacing on a mile run can be 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes, and they're running 3 of them, and they're maintaining this pace. So it's absolutely just wild to see how they compare, not just against themselves where they were years ago, but against other athletes that only do that. So compared to a running athlete who just runs, or compared to a weightlifter who just weightlifts, like Guy Medeiros, like with Mayhem. Like his strength is just insane. He's a CrossFitter, but he snatches over 300s, clean jerks over 400. That's top tier echelon for representing, you know, close to representing his country.
Right.
At a Olympic level. Tia Claire Toomey did it. She represented Australia in what was that, the gold something games.
2016 or something like that. But she medaled. She medaled that year. So she won the CrossFit Games, and then she got like a bronze or a silver.
Commonwealth. She did the Commonwealth Games, I think is what she did. Yeah. She competed in the Commonwealth Games.
She get bronze?
She competed at the Commonwealth Games a couple months after winning the CrossFit Games. And these athletes it just shows that how effective it is, and it's proven.
It's proven that you're
no pun
now
intended for Tia Claire Toomey's proven programming.
Yeah, we're not sponsored. But this just proves that back in the day, don't even say it. So back in the day, sports were designed to show like how much of it you had people who were the outliers they were just specialists.
Yeah. Right?
So okay, grid or NPGL, you had strength specialists. You had gymnastics specialists, so you had those dudes that could just move heavy weight. Endurance wasn't necessarily really good, or maybe it was good, but they just could do heavy weight. They could not do the gymnastics. Same thing, gymnastics. But then you had the utility guys. I think what CrossFit is showing is that the sport of CrossFit has now bled into so many different avenues and made people better athletes in all these different areas to where they can actually compete at a high level.
Yep.
In those. Now, granted, Tia Claire Toomey, it's freaking nature.
She's
freaking
one of
nature.
one.
Right.
But I think other sports like Olympic weightlifting, I think is probably the biggest one. But lately, over the last years, been the tactical games. You see guys like
that's grunt work, and then shooting under duress.
Yep.
Grunt work, shooting under duress. That's military stuff.
So tactical games. Who's doing it now?
Heppner.
Oh my gosh. Jacob Heppner's doing it.
Bridges. I think
Bridges.
Froning did it. once.
But you also have there's a female athlete. Forgot her name. She works out of Vegas, but she's doing it as well. She's a freak. And these are all former athletes who maybe are done putting in that time, because it's a full-time job to be a games level athlete. It's not anything that you can probably do these days. Very rarely if you have a full-time job. But seeing these guys who stop that competing at an individual level, either raise a family or pursue other interests, are now on the platform in Vegas at Worlds, or they're competing at a high level in the tactical games. And it's just awesome to see that everything that the sport has given them, they're still able to give back in some way to some sort of like fitness aspect or avenue. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think we're gonna start tapering down a little bit and start kind of recapping everything. But at the end of the day, guys, if you want to take anything away from me, and then I'll pass it over to Matt, is crawl before you can run. Trust the process in your programming. I think it's very important that you follow a strict program and you stick to it. You put the work in. But remember, that's only an hour a day if you're doing the affiliate track stuff, and you have to put in the work afterwards, before, after, or at home. If you really want to try to get to that extra stuff, talk to your coach. Get on a program, get on a track, work on that accessory work. It's going to be very
Don't bother
important.
me, I'll kung fu you.
So, and then not just, those foundations getting on it, but you have to stick to it. Consistency is key. The skill set will come, and you can't be lazy. So, if you come to me and say, oh, well, Luis or Coach, I haven't done, I can't do pull-ups yet, or I don't have 20 butterfly pull-ups yet. I'm like, well, how many strict pull-ups do you have? 5. Why have you been doing the work that I assigned to you? And you're like, then you got to go back to step 1. You got to get those basics in. But yeah, so that's it. Crawl before you can run. Trust the process. Talk to your coach. Patient, consistency, and get off your ass. Don't be lazy. Put in the work.
Yeah. To piggyback off that, I'm not going to be as mean or brutal as that guy. But I always use this quote: many tiny steps produce miles over time. CrossFit, just like a healthy lifestyle, is not a sprint. It's a marathon. A little bit every single day makes progress over time. Like, yes, you will see initial gains, but we love CrossFit as a sport and a training methodology. Yes, we're very passionate about it, but you have to think about it like a lifestyle. And that's kind of what drew me to CrossFit, is everyone was kind of like-minded, that they just wanted to be better. But I think sometimes a lot of people will get wrapped up in, oh, I'm not seeing results now. I'm not seeing this now. I'm not seeing this now. Well, in today's society, we are also, I would even say we are all very pampered, that we get everything it's just instant gratification, in today's society. But just get it in your mind and your thought process that I'm going to make this a lifestyle change. Now, do you have to just eat super clean 7 days a week and you have to live, eat, sleep, breathe, health, fitness, nutrition? No. Think about an 80-20 rule, right? So 80% of the time you're eating clean. If you want a meal, fine. If you want a cheat meal, fine. Just don't get off the wagon and burn the wagon, right?
Yeah.
So you just reward yourself. But what he was talking about, if you want to make progress in any fashion, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in your job, no matter what you do, it takes you working on the little things that will in turn affect the big changes that you want to see. So just be consistent. I always say little steps produce miles over time, and consistency is always greater than motivation. You're not always going to be motivated to do the stuff. Just try to be consistent about it. I mean, I'm looking at a quote right now. I don't have time to exercise and cook. Going out to eat, 1 hour on average. Cooking 5 eggs, 5 minutes. Watching a movie or a television show, 2 hours. Doing 50 push-ups, 2 minutes. I don't have time equals it's not a priority. So if you want your health to be a priority and you want to be able to have longevity in your life, just do the little things and make certain things a priority, and the dividends, the return on investment will pay off dividends in the long run. So that's
awesome.
Yeah.
No, wise words from Matt Hubbard,
Viejo.
our Yoda of CrossFit Deville. So, because he's old as shit.
Viejo
So-
El Blanco es viejo.
Blanco
Is that correct? Is that how you
And
say
we
it? Is
promise
that how
you
you say
guys-
it correctly?
Yeah.
El Blanco es viejo.
Yeah, we promised you guys we would have a Hispanic phrase of the week for Matt. So that's his. This week is El Blanco es Viejo.
No, it was gonna be. What did I say before? It was Dios.
Te hizo así. Yeah.
Well, you said it too fast. So whatever he said, he said.
Yeah. So that means God made you that way. So
God doesn't make junk.
that makes these people that come in here and grind every single day. So, but thank you guys again. You're gonna see this set evolve over the next couple weeks or months. We'll have Pedro and Gio back hopefully on the next episode, at least one of them, I think.
Pedro is never allowed to go out drinking the night before.
We're supposed to shoot a podcast.
Yes.
So-
Gio was actually working in a different state, so he
Yeah.
could not be here. He had
So-
a reason.
Pedro will hopefully at least be on the next one. Actually, it might be me and Matt again if we're doing it next week because they're going to be in Puerto Rico. So we'll see how it looks.
Can we get
moving
little
forward.
faces? Can we
Yeah,
get
we're going to
little
put their
faces?
little bobbleheads
Yeah,
behind
we'll get
here
little
and we'll have
faces
them
down.
here with us
Yeah.
or we'll FaceTime them. But no, it'll be good. So we'll have the whole crew back at least one episode this month. And be on the lookout. We're going to try to release one of these at least 2 to 4 times a month moving forward. Different topics, different subjects. But once again, I hope this was beneficial and helped you in any way. And if you guys have any questions in the gym for our members who are watching, come stop us. Come let us know. If we got feedback, grab us as well. We're happy to take that feedback. We took a lot of the changes, if you see, with the lighting and everything. We consulted professionals. We got Mateo over here and Adrian as well gave us a lot of tips and tricks. So thank you guys, everybody who's given us the feedback to help us change and grow. And hopefully this keeps going and we're able to continue to make impacts on your lives. And you guys
That is
get
the goal.
something out of our fitness banter here. So with that said, have a good one. Thank you guys so much. Until
Thank you.
next time.